In 2022, he lost a World Cup final to Lionel Messi. On a June night in 2026, deep in stoppage time, he struck the ball from 25 yards out. Goal. And with that one swing of his boot, Kylian Mbappé moved past Messi and past Pelé on the all-time World Cup scoring list. France beat Senegal 3-1, but this was no ordinary opener. It was a 24-year-old debt and a changing of the guard. Let's get into the reaction. The moment the whistle blew, the football internet had one story: the records. On 66 minutes, Mbappé ran onto a gorgeous through ball from Michael Olise and opened the scoring. It was his 13th career World Cup goal, moving past Pelé and level with just Fontaine and Messi. Then, in stoppage time, from 25 yards, he buried his 14th past Edouard Mendy. That took him clear of Messi and Fontaine outright, level with Giroud. Müller, third on the all-time list. Only two men sit ahead now, Ronaldo on 15, Klose on 16. And that goal was also his 58th for France. So Mbappé didn't just pass Messi, he passed Olivier Giroud to become his country's all-time leading scorer. ESPN called the stoppage time strike the goal of the tournament so far. The symbolism is what lit up the timeline. Mbappé spent the 2022 final chasing Messi and came up short. Now he has overtaken him on the one list that outlives any single tournament, and he's done it at 27, with years still ahead of him. Messi, still active at 38, can technically respond, but the math is brutal. Time is on exactly one of their sides. He's 27, this is his third World Cup, champion in 2018, runner-up in 2022. He scored 25 goals last season at Real Madrid. And the man who edged Messi by a single goal for the 2022 Golden Boot is now staring down Klose's all-time record of 16. He needs just 3 more. 4 years ago he handed Messi the trophy. Tonight, he climbed above Messi's name. Sometimes a changing of the guard takes just one swing of the boot. Everyone watching reached for the same memory. 2002. That year's opening game, Senegal stunned the defending champions and title favourites, France, 1-0. It's a result ESPN still calls the biggest World Cup moment in African history. French-language outlets framed this rematch bluntly as a revenge 24 years in the waiting. And after the final whistle, Swiss outlet 20 Minutes wrote that the wound of 2002 has been erased. France's camp, though, were wary of the word revenge. N'Golo Kanté said it before kickoff: "There's no such thing as revenge. It happened 24 years ago. Now it's time to write a new chapter." In the end, France wrote that first page against the very same opponent. A generation ago, the Lions of Terranobit bit the Giant. 24 years later, the Giant paid its debt. But those 90 minutes were not as comfortable as the scoreline suggests. Look only at the 3-1 and you miss the truth. In the first half, the sharper team was Senegal. On 25 minutes, Mbappé giveaway sprung a Senegal counter, and Nicolas Jackson's shot smacked the post. Then, right before the break, Ismaïla Sarr met a ball from the left and headed it over the bar from close range. If that one drops in, we are telling a completely different story tonight. The French players admitted it. William Saliba said flatly that in the first half they weren't good. Senegal were better. French outlets wrote that the so-called magic quartet, Dembélé, Mbappé and Olise, looked scrappy for 45 minutes. Senegal's veterans set the tone, Idrissa Gueye marshalling the midfield, the young Monaco man Lamine Camara snapping into challenges and cutting France's passing lanes. Even after the break, Mendy stood tall. He turned away a fierce Olise effort early in the second half before the dam finally broke. And afterward, the Senegal goalkeeper summed up his side's regret: "We started well, we had a good first half. The shame is we didn't take our chances." The title favourites wobbled in the opening 45 of their own opener. Had Sarr's header dropped, the headline on this night reads very differently. Two things flipped the game. First, Olise moved into a central role after the break. He brought France's attack to life, and the assist for the opener came off his boot. Second, the bench. Bradley Barcola came on and, within 2 minutes, dinked a cool finish over Mendy to make it 2. France's second half shot count, 10-1, a completely different team. And over all of it sits one storyline. This is Didier Deschamps' final campaign in charge of France. The man who won the World Cup as a player in '98 and again as a coach in 2018 is on his farewell tour. And for 45 minutes it looked shaky, with Dayot Upamecano left to hold the back line together through France's most fragile spell. Afterward, Deschamps called it relief, admitted there'd been some apprehension, and said it's always good to start with a win, even if nothing's decided yet. Mbappé, as captain, struck the same note. It's only the first game, people can get carried away or pile on, but the players have to stay cold. Eyes already on Iraq in 6 days. A coach closing one era, a captain opening another. Deschamps' farewell tour begins with 3 points and a warning. And then there's the story outside the lines. According to ESPN, a large number of Senegalese fans were denied visas by the United States government. As a result, the supporters of the Lions of Terranor appeared limited to a few sections in the southwest corner of MetLife Stadium. Even in a near-sellout crowd of 80,545, there were empty seats in the mezzanine. And 2 hours before kickoff, resale tickets had dropped to as low as $69. Seats FIFA had sold back in December for $200 to $600. At a tournament billed as the festival of the whole world, one side's missing fans got talked about almost as much as the football. The stadium was full, but some seats never got filled. One of this tournament's hardest questions was sitting right there, in plain sight. So here's where it lands. France beat Senegal 3-1 and announced themselves like the favourites they are. Mbappé climbed above Messi and Pelé and became France's all-time leading scorer and erased the ghost of 2002 against the very team that haunted them. But that first half wobble was a reminder. This side isn't the finished article yet. France top Group I with Iraq in 6 days and Norway to come. Senegal must regroup against those same two. And a prediction to close. Mbappé reaches closes 16 at this tournament. He adds at least 2 more against the Iraq and Norway defences and leads the race for a second golden boot. France go through as group winners, and the day Senegal stretch that first half sharpness across a full 90, second place in this group is well within reach. For years ago, he looked up at Messi. Tonight, Messi looks up at him. The torch has already been passed.